team here at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Ambassador Real Estate Company. My name is Mark Wehner II, team leader, Champions Real Estate Team, and joining me today, as always, is Russ Williams with Williams Mortgage. So we jump on here every Wednesday, try to get on here over the lunch hour, afternoon time frame, give you a rundown what's going on over the real estate market, and we also offer a quick tip. My quick tip and our quick tip for this week is a lot of people start thinking about new construction this time of year. More so because the build times right now are anywhere from 9 months to a year, even a little bit out. So some people want to time that. So maybe if you have kids, you want to get in before school starts or that kind of stuff. The one thing I would just think about is most builders start doing a little bit of price changing or adjusting their prices or increasing their prices based on what the market's doing, what the supply, labor costs and things of that. Usually that comes in anywhere between now, January, February in that mindset. So if you're thinking about new construction, now would be a good time to get with one of us here at Champions Real Estate Team, get in touch with the builders. They aren't going to lock those prices until they have a signed contract, knowing that you're going to build the house, then they can start locking in prices. Sometimes they may not lock in the lumber prices until lumber drops. So that was something we saw in COVID when the lumber prices spiked up. So those are all things we can all help you out here. But if new construction is an option that you're thinking about, sooner the better. The old adage, I've said this for years, the best time to buy new construction was yesterday. Just because typically when you're thinking of new construction, you're at the mercy of what the market is doing as far as the PVC, the copper, all the materials that go into that house, when they send those bids out, to their subcontractors, get those back, and they're just going to adjust those accordingly. So that just be top of the mind, rather than, oh gosh, we're going to start thinking about building a house in March. Those prices may have already taken an effect, January, February, and you could have got them potentially in this December timeframe. And I know, holidays get a little crazy, but if it's just something to think about, that is one of those things we want you to be aware of if new construction is an option for you. So we'll jump in here with what's going on in the market over the last week. So let's pull up our graphics we use every week, try to keep it similar so everyone understands what's going on. So we had 358 new listings go live over the last 7 days, 304 new contracts written, so homes that went pending status. And then we had 339 happy new homeowners this last week. So congratulations to them. So kind of big picture of the market. This is what I kind of look at. This is like the boots on the ground graphic that I use here. So last week we had 426 new listings. And then we had about 310 new contracts from last week. So saw a dip or drop down, now we're going to probably start seeing that, as we're coming into the holidays. People want to, let's list the house after we get the holiday decorations down and things of that sort. So you start seeing a little bit of new listings going down, but we still have a good pent up demand of buyers. As Russell talked about here with what's going on in the interest rates, we've dropped from our high back in October. We're seeing some of those people come off the fence that are really serious buyers. And I still encourage you, if you're contemplating getting into the housing game, getting into the real estate market, now is the time. Before the big push, typically historically over my 15 years, that spring market, usually all the buyers come out. It doesn't really matter what the interest rates are. You're going to get more homes on the market. You're going to get that kind of stuff. But now is the time to capitalize on maybe some of those homes have been sitting on the market a little bit longer, to jump in from a buying perspective. And let's take a look at the 30,000 foot view of what's going on. So this is the big picture. So number of listings in the entire Omaha and Lincoln MLS were just under 3,000. We haven't been below 3,000 since back in October. When I look at my previous numbers here. So we've gone a couple months that we've obviously dropped down on inventory, but you'll see our Douglas Sarpy County inventory is right around that 1,750. We're up a little bit to 1,800, but the number that you take a look at why these numbers have dropped is that existing home sales or existing active homes on the market is down. That was up, 850 or so a little bit ago. I'm trying to look back at my numbers here. Yeah, so about that time frame. But what we're seeing is that increase in new construction. So as we look at it, what I just mentioned about our quick tip, we've gone up probably about 20 or 30 houses of new construction inventory gone up each week. So, we were about 800, a couple months ago. And now we're basically back in September, we were at 810. 800, yeah, right. So we're back at 800. So they're ramping up knowing that the spring market's coming, and then, they're getting their foundations in the ground. But that's what we're seeing and getting in there before those prices increase when they start putting new foundations or your custom home, rather than these are spec homes going in now, but your custom home, they're locking the prices in for the spec homes. So that's sometimes why you see those spec homes are a little bit less than what your new build is because they've locked these prices in at today's price, rather than when you start, get plans laid out, you start making your selections and things of that sort, your prices may be a little bit higher than what these spec homes that are going in the dirt right now. So that's kind of what we're seeing. Obviously, months of inventory, 3 months. So it's still just borderline a seller's market, almost into a neutral market. Our average sold price, 335. That hasn't changed too much. Right around that 5% increase from this time last year. So we're still seeing activity moving in the market. So just want to give you guys kind of that take of what I typically see in new construction. So going back to new construction, the most number of pending units is typically that January, February, and March are your highest pending units for new construction historically. And that's just simply what I said earlier. People are building new construction because they want to get in the fall, when school is starting or things of that sort. They don't want to be moving when the snow's flying and stuff like that. So that's just one of those things. So I guess let's take a look at it. So if we're going to do new construction, we're buying houses, we got to, sometimes fund that. So let's take a look at what Russ has to say, what's going on in the interest rates. I know last week he was in Detroit, but I think there's some big meetings that happened last week with the feds and things of that sort. So I guess we'll see what the myth, the man, the legend has to say about it.
Yeah, basically since the end of October, we've seen a gradual improvement in mortgage rates, and we're expecting that trend to continue. Every 6 weeks, as we've talked about, the Federal Reserve Bank meets in their open market committee meetings to make decisions on what they want to do, if anything, in response to inflation or deflation. As we all know from going to the grocery store and gas station, inflation has been a problem. But we're continuing to see inflation numbers improve. And today, in fact, at about 1 o'clock, 1:15, we'll get the Fed decision on what they are wanting to do in this cycle, this 6-week period for interest rates. The market is fully expecting the Fed will make no move, but perhaps more importantly will be what the Federal Reserve Bank Chairman Powell says in the press conference after the meeting, as well as what the dot plot will reflect. And the dot plot is where they give each of the voting Fed members an opportunity to propose or suggest or forecast what they think, each of the Fed members thinks should happen to short-term rates. As we talked about, Mark and I talked about before we got on this Zoom, some of the Fed governors are economists, and they have been tempered and measured in their response. Some of the Fed governors are attorneys with no economics training, and those have been the folks generally that have been the problem. So we'll be curious what that dot plot will show, and as a result, we could see some volatility here for a few days. But just yesterday and today, we got both retail and wholesale measures of inflation, and inflation isn't going up. It's actually improving. So that's a good sign. And as we head to the spring market, that probably will push mortgage rates down even further. Having said that, and to echo what you said a moment ago, Mark, the lower that rates go, the more people come off the fence. And that means more demand with limited supply of homes available. And that is likely to put more upward pressure on home prices. So we've said it before, Mark, marry the house, state the rate. You can always refinance off the rates today, even if rates do improve in the next 6, 12, 18 months, whatever it might be. But you're not going to get that home for 6, 12, or 18 months for the price you might be able to get it for today. So for that reason, if you're thinking about buying a home, whether it be new construction or existing, this is time to jump in with both feet.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like you were talking about inflation. I've seen that little post go around with the Home Alone, with what Kevin bought at the grocery store for $19 back when that movie, and I think it's like up to $72 now or something on that. So it's kind of chuckle at that little humor. But
yep, you're not going to get those groceries for $19 again. It's that those days are gone. Same thing with real estate.
Yep. So I say like even like talking inflation hedging your bet, and we talk about real estate investing. There's still some deals to be had out there from a real estate investing standpoint. So as the activity is slowing down in this time frame, that's just another avenue to hedge your bets against the inflation and have an asset that's able to appreciate and build that equity for you. So if that's another option that you want to talk about, we're happy to discuss that with you here at Champions Real Estate Team. So I'm an avid investor myself, so love doing it. Love chatting about it, love talking about it, so passionate about it. So it's kind of fun. And Russ has helped me with my transactions on the financing side with those. So there's different options that you can do for that. So, but and I think they lowered FHA and things like that, or you can use for multifamily and stuff.
Yeah, and we've even seen in the conventional world that for owner occupant, you can get low down payment conventional financing.
Yeah.
So for multi-unit 2, 3, and 4 unit properties, you can buy those for low down payment now using conventional financing, which is a great way to get your real estate empire started.
Yep. Yeah. And even if you have a low down payment, you might necessarily cash flow on it, but you're going to gain hopefully on that appreciation and that equity or that principal buy down from that renter. So sometimes everyone, you hear all the gurus and all the people on TikTok, Instagram, and all those talking heads. I mean, obviously we're on there right now, so I guess we could be a talking head, but we want to, bring reality to it that you might not necessarily cash flow positive on that, and everyone's, you can make it passive income, but there's other ways to generate income, or tax write-offs or things of that sort that can make up for those other things and that side of it. So, but as always, happy to talk to you. Numbers down here, 672-7670. Give Russ a holler at 290-8936, and we'll happy to help you. And hopefully everyone's out there getting their holiday shopping done and all that good stuff. And we'll keep driving the economy, right? So, but anyways, take care and have a great rest of the week, and we will talk to everybody.